Hello, everybody. Left Chris, I am back, and Chris Hooley is also here. And it's nice to see people on the chat before we even start the stream. Is fantastic, and the feedback for the introduction is very good as well. So thank you for that. And hello, Chris. It's great to be back again.
Hello. What was that?
It was the new introduction.
Was that me and you sat down on the couch?
That was you on a couch reading me a story and me drinking a beer in the WCCS bar, of course.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah.
Where did you get that little nugget from?
That, by the way, and we'll plug this because we have signed up as an affiliate for Fiverr, by the way. I use someone on Fiverr, and there's many people, many sort of costs going from very beginnery amateur people who are very good to professional verified people with a bigger budget, and there is some fantastic resources on there. So that's where we got that, and we do have an affiliate link, so check out descriptions for that. And if you do use it, then we'll get a little bit back for the show, which keeps it going.
Nice. Did you send him a picture of you and then just vaguely describe me?
Actually, no, I sent this, both a picture of me and you, but the more I've studied it now a bit more, and the more I look at it, the more you do look like that character. But you have shaved since.
Okay. I didn't think it looked anything like me, but then again, I could be wrong.
Like I said, I was honestly thinking it sounded like a Christmas Nutcracker musical play thing. I know what you mean. Do you know what the intention was to have Chris Hooley, because he's reading the book in the the thing, that he would narrate a story of the chat show's history in like a funny way, and I thought that'd be brilliant, but we haven't got round to it, and I'm not sure if we will. But that's a great idea.
Space. That's on its way.
I think we need to tap up some voice actors.
That could be problematic because my lips don't move in the video.
Yeah, it's fine. Anyway, so it's fantastic to be back, guys, and I hope you've been safe and had a good week and all sorts of stuff. I obviously was not in a very good space on Wednesday, Thursday, feeling better today, but I've been there before. So let's hope we're on the up, and I'm looking forward to tonight's show. So let's get on with the Beer Token book promotion, of course, and thank you to anyone who does this, because it really does keep the show going. And that person today is someone who sponsored the show before and who is sponsoring the show over 6 months, and that's fantastic. But the reason that person's doing it is because they've got a book release on the 6th month, and that 6th book is the latest or the end of the 6-book series, which is a fantastic idea to promote that along the way. And that person is Marian Thorpe. So if you see in the bottom of your screen now, her book, the second one of these series, is called Empire's Legacy. Empire's Hostage, which is in the Empire Legacy series, and it's got 4.8 out of 5 ratings after 15 reviews. It's historical fantasy, and one reviewer said it is one of indie publishing's most talented new voices, which is a nice thing to hear. I will read the blurb. A task she cannot refuse, a land that holds secrets, and a man Lena doesn't know she can trust. Now a soldier, Lena is sent to stand hostage to a truce with a country that holds knowledge long forgotten in her own. Kidnapped by the fierce Marai, she faces a future she cannot accept. When she learns of immediate danger to her land, Lena must cooperate with a man she neither knows or likes. But when their actions have consequences neither could foresee, will the outcome be worse than the Marai threat? So it does sound fantastic, and that series looks brilliant, and it's got really good reviews, so please do check that out. They will. I will put a picture up, Chris, just for you.
Yeah,
it's not just for you, but
this
I know
is so much easier doing the book promotion side of things like this, because the reading is not fun.
So there's 3 books up in that picture, and the one on the left, the light greeny colour, Empire's Hostage, that's the new one there. So thank you very much. Oh, she's lovely, according to Joanne. Anya says Marianne's books are amazing. I should go find her. You can. Why not? Hang in there, Chris. I'm all right. I'm doing better.
I think she was referring to me because it's quite difficult to look up.
Oh, okay. There's too many hang-ons going on. And what we do have is a little giveaway on today's show. Now, we like to do giveaways anyway, as you all know on it. We do that and support the community. But the stream platform we use has got a new feature, and it's to do a giveaway on the show. So I really like that idea. So we're going to try it out tonight. And what you have to do, whether you're watching on YouTube, or Facebook, wherever that you're watching. If you see on the screen, hashtag Interrobang is a word we all love. If you hashtag that in the chat right now, you should see the entries start going up, and it'll log you in for a competition. And the prize is right now, we don't know. We might buy you a book. We might gift you one.
We should definitely gift a copy of tonight's guest book. I mean, that would make sense.
That totally makes sense, as long as they're in the right areas to gift, because we all know Amazon's a pain in the ass sometimes. So someone check in hashtag Interrobang on the chat, and let's see what happens. Or I could just go back to that. Oh, hang on. Yep, there you go. One entry, and that's Anya has just put in Interrobang. So there you go. 2 or 3 entries.
So what? Every time we get one. Brilliant.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So we will do that draw a bit later on. So let's stop waffling and get on with tonight's guest, Chris.
Yeah, let's bring her on.
She's the author of If I Can't Have You. It's be called a compulsive, darkly funny story of heartbreak and obsession. It's had over 1,110 reviews on UK Amazon at the moment, and it's had high praise, wow. I know, from a lot of known names in the industry, and it's been nominated for plenty of awards. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Charlotte Levin. Hello.
Hello. Hi.
How are you doing?
I feel I have to say it hasn't been nominated for any awards, I'm afraid. It had. Actually, that's not true. It did in its early stages, but as a book, it hasn't. I just feel honest to say. It sounded great though.
We'll
yeah, I mean, you should have totally bigged that up and gone. It's nominated for all the awards.
Just run with that.
Yeah.
Pretending I'd won the Booker.
Totally.
Yeah.
If you hashtag twice, Lyth, you do not get a second entry. It's very clever. There you go. So let's jump into let's find out what the story's about, and then we'll jump into a bit of background, because then that gives everyone the platform to understand what the story is.
Okay, so it's If I Can't Have You, and it's about a young woman called Constance Little, and she's left Manchester for London following her mother's death, and she basically has an affair with the new doctor at the medical practice where she works, and she feels like she's found all the things that she's looking for and support, and there's lots of things in the background that gradually come darker things into the foreground, and essentially he ends the relationship, and the book is her descent into obsession. She can't let the relationship go, and so she effectively becomes a stalker, but it's all from her point of view, and you're kind of rooting for her. It's a bit it messes with your head a little bit, because you're kind of rooting for her, but also everything she does is terrible. So and he's pretty awful, so she's less awful than he is.
Fantastic. It sounds very interesting, and we'll dig into that very shortly, and there's some questions arise instantly over some of those themes. So let's have a little rewind in life and find out why writing was special in your life and where that came from.
Well, unlike most authors, I didn't really always want to write, so that sort of came later. I was really into acting, and so when I do acting things, I'd write little skits and things just to give myself a bigger part if I was doing like courses. And then one time I was doing a course at the Royal Court, Young People's Theatre, when I was young. And I had to write this scene because I wanted to, again, have a big part. So I wrote this scene, and then we did an end of term performance, and the artistic director sent a note through to the teacher saying, tell her to not stop writing. But I hadn't actually ever thought about doing it. But I read plays all the time. Like, I was obsessed with just reading plays. So I wasn't really into books. I was just consume plays. And then I thought, oh, well, maybe I'll write a play, which I did. And I was just, it's so embarrassing because I wrote a play. I didn't even read it back. I just pulled it from the typewriter. That shows how old I am. And then just posted it off to the National Theatre like you do, like, you know. So that was really cringe. But they really did get back to me, and they passed it on to the director as well. They had a reader and they passed it on, but it was a rejection. But again, it was like, you know, you can really write and stuff, but I didn't really think anything of it. And then I did a course, a local course a friend was doing, and I went in terms of thinking I'd write a play again. But we started doing prose and stuff, and then I was like, I'm really into this, but I had no confidence at all. I joined a writer's circle, and I did a really bad version of this book. It's nothing like it at all, apart from the character's name. That's it. And I don't know. I just like thought it was something that I couldn't do, that other people do. And then in 2015, I'd moved back to Manchester because my mum was poorly, and she died in 2015. And I started writing it because it was just a bit like now or never. And then as I was writing it, my dad died. It was like, oh God, I just need to do this book now. And that sort of spurred me on because I was in quite a dark place, but it kind of kept me going. I had something positive to do, and amazingly, I got it published.
It's a fantastic story, and I really like the concept of you not knowing you wanted to be a writer or wasn't really interested in that at the time, but you really wanted to act in these things, so you wrote your own sort of stories. but the writing of plays, it must be very different to writing of novels. So how did you adapt that when you instantly decided that now is the time to write a novel?
Well, I had done prose. Like, I didn't just jump into writing a novel from doing plays. I am very old. It was a long period of time, this stretch. And then, so I did a couple of short stories, and I basically got one short story, and I entered it to the Mslexia competition, and I got shortlisted for that. So I've done like a few things, and I don't know, it's really naive really, because I probably wasn't experienced enough, and I learned how to write a novel by writing a terrible version of it. And then I kind of felt like I learned on the job just how to do it, by how not to do it. And it is quite different, but saying that, I think because I was like acting from a really early age and I was really into plays, I think I had quite a good understanding about things like subtext and motivation and scene, and all things that actually you do need. They do transfer into novel writing.
So Charlotte, I'm really interested when you said the fact that you wrote this novel when you were in a really dark place, and it was almost like an escapism for you. So how did it feel then, taking that finished article and sharing it with other people and opening yourself up in that sort of way?
Well, I mean, I didn't really. I got a mentor. So when my dad died, I had a little bit of money, and I thought I'm just going to get a mentor because again, I just didn't lack confidence. And then she was like, "I've been doing this 10 years, and you absolutely can do this." So it was quite scary, but it was really weird because I just had it was a real moment of like, life's too short, and I just decided that I was going to do this. I was like so determined. It was very weird, but I think it was purely because I had to, as you say, it was like escape. It was like the only thing keeping me going because it was the only positive thing I had, and I had to. So I carried on just thinking, yeah, no, this is my job. I mean, it wasn't my job. I had a full-time job. I've got a business, still have. But I just decided it was my job that I just didn't get paid for. I changed my whole attitude about it, and it was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I mean, but I got so many rejections and everything. I mean, it certainly wasn't an easy ride. But I don't know, something sort of like clicked in me where I just thought, yeah, I'm going to do this.
It's really interesting, and I've openly spoken about how I got into writing before, and that was when my grandfather passed, and it was something very similar, to relate to it, that I felt like I needed something to achieve more in life as well, maybe. And someone reached out on my writer's website about 2 weeks ago saying that they had the similar journey as well. And we actually mentioned, it's very interesting how I wonder how many people have gone through that process and found writing as a result, or some sort of creativity.
Yeah, totally. And I put in my acknowledgements, I say that the best thing that's ever happened to me came out of the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And that's but it's strange because if they hadn't have died, I probably would have just been faffing around. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like a weird one.
So Charlotte, how's the process changed from you being in that moment, using writing as an escapism, getting this novel done, and that determination to then going, right, well, I've done the first one, and I'm presuming that you're writing a second one now. So what's the difference in your writing pattern now? How has that changed?
The second one is actual hell on earth. Even though I was in like the bad place then,
Yeah.
it is weird because I did have that thing, and also like writing it in lockdown, and I haven't actually seen anyone for a year, not through a window. It's just, I found it really, really difficult. And also, obviously, that one, even though I started it, I suppose 2015, it came out in 2018, but so a couple of years I was just writing it on my own. But it'd been in my head for a long time, and then in the middle of the pandemic, I just had to like, okay, I'm doing another book, and I find it really difficult. But I'm just coming to the end of my first draft, and then I love editing because I hate first drafts; they're just evil. So I'm hoping it will get more enjoyable, at least.
Wow, we are completely different, because I can love a first draft, smash that out, and when it comes to
Really?
editing, I can't stand it.
Oh no, I love editing. I love editing because it's like magic. Every time you do it, it's just better. That's
Yeah.
and but first drafts, it's like pulling teeth for me. I hate it. Hate it.
So it's interesting with the first draft. The reason I kind of like it is I always do it. Pants the story. I follow the characters and I visualize it. Is that similar with you, or are you a planner? How does that work for you?
No, I'm not a planner. I have to kind of know the story arc or what the point of it is. I think a lot about that. So, I mean, both my novels, If I Can't Have You and the one I'm writing, it's just completely character led. So it couldn't be any other character that is in these circumstances. And so I don't plan. And if I've ever tried to plan, by the next chapter I can't do it anyway because it's doing its own thing. And
Yeah.
it's just pointless. I kind of know the inciting incident or some major reversals, but no, I have no idea what's happening. In fact, it's quite scary. I've come to the end of my novel ish, and I've thought of an ending which I'm really happy with, and that ending is purely based on the fact of a particular print of soft furnishing I did without even thinking in chapter 2. And it's like, well, what if I had done a spotted duvet instead? It's like I wouldn't have an ending. It's just it's quite scary. It feels like you're just there by the skin of your teeth, just plucking these things. Maybe it's subconscious, I don't know.
If we head back to when you spoke about your book initially, when we started the show, you mentioned that your character was someone you want to hate, but you kind of, or what their behaviors are you want to hate, but then you rooting for the character. I'm really interested in how did you approach writing someone that you knew should be kind of hated, but you want the audience to root for as well?
I mean, I don't know whether people hate. I mean, she's really. I think I've accidentally written a fairly controversial character, because even like people who were really liking the book are like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this, because I kind of was rooting for her, but it also makes you a bit uncomfortable because really you shouldn't be. But I just like sort of got into her head, and it was like I was just totally on her side within a thing, because it's all about her thought process. So she's not a bad person in any way. It's just she's got her whole thought process is off kilter. So, and there are kind of justifications in the book for her thinking certain things. There's a lot of gaslighting from the guy in it, and him just saying things as people do, just to get what they want in that moment, then at that moment. And and I suppose it's like, be careful who you treat badly, because you don't know what their demons are. And then it gradually unfolds like what her background is and why she would be behaving in this way.
So Charlotte, I suppose I've got two questions from that. one, what made you want to explore relationships in that manner? And obviously the gaslighting element that you've talked about, which is so toxic in a lot of relationships. What drew you to that? And then the second part of that question is, you mentioned that you were very visual in terms of this was in your head for a long time. Is that still the case now on book 2? And was that the case on book 1 in terms of, did you see these scenes before you wrote them down? So when you wrote them, they were coming out very quick?
Well, in terms of the thing, I think like stalking's such a well-worn trope, isn't it, in films and books and things. But in Fatal Attraction, for example, it's like Glenn Close is just a psycho, and the guy's like, oh, he's a victim, but he actually did shag her behind his wife. So I just wanted to sort of like make it a bit more, why would someone do it, a bit more human, they're not just a psycho, that there are reasons and people have emotional problems and various things that can lead to that. And I just wanted it to be realistic, because I just didn't want it to be like just a psycho, basically.
Did you have any inspirations for that character? Was there anything you were kind of reading or watching at the time?
It's a memoir. I forgot to mention that. Not really. It's not. No. Just I tell you what it is like everybody, men, women. Well, most people have experienced heartbreak. That's like a universal thing, and also probably, wanting someone you can't have or being dumped and things. But it's so I just wanted to take that feeling. And I think that's why people have responded to her. I mean, I get so many messages saying like, this is really like affecting me, this book, because it's like the core feeling we've almost all felt, but she acts on it in ways that, we hopefully don't. But the feeling behind it is kind of universal.
How did you deal with the feedback having from readers then was about this character and the more serious side of things? And were you expecting feedback to be more general about the book and the story in itself?
I don't know. I always thought I had something that kind of would. I think if you get it, if you come to the book thinking it's like a psychological thriller, then you'd be disappointed. It has got thriller elements to it, but I always knew that there was a sort of a nugget in there that a lot of people can kind of relate to. Even it sort of like reflects our worst sides of humans.
Interesting. I mean, psychology certainly.
I'm really into psychology, and so it's like a psychological book, but with very much emphasis on the psychology.
Brilliant. So this book was released last summer, and obviously you mentioned
it was hardback last summer.
Yeah, in lockdown, and you had a mentor previously, and now you've been writing on your own for this next book. So how have you dealt with sort of your own work and concentrating on what you need to do without any of these external sort of influences?
I mean, I still have my mentor is now my writing buddy, but and then I've got another friend, and I really had to kind of soundboard a bit with this one. It's quite complicated, and sort of talking through plot and things really helped. But I found it really difficult because I found the whole lockdown and pandemic thing really difficult. I have quite severe anxiety, and it's not been good for me at all. So it's been a bit of a struggle. So I haven't been, though I've got more into it, it's quite good. I've got that feeling again where I'm a bit immersed in it, and that feels nice. But it's been a struggle. The second book syndrome is not a fallacy. It's real. It's very real.
How does
Charlotte,
I was going to say, how does it work with a writing? You mentioned a writing buddy, but before that, it was like a mentor. How does that work? And would you recommend that to someone getting into writing for the first time?
Yeah, if you can afford it. Like, I didn't pay like full whack because it's very expensive, a mentor. So I only had like a few sessions. I think for me, if I'm honest, and I'm sure she wouldn't mind saying, I didn't really learn anything from her technically or anything like that, but it was just I had no idea if I was good enough or not. I didn't do it. I've not got a degree in writing or anything like that. And even though people along the years have gone, you are really good, but just my brain doesn't accept that. So it was nice having someone who I felt knew whether knew a stuff.
You can never really trust the friends and family that say your work's good, can you? I mean, no one ever does.
No. Well,
All
my
the good
family
praise.
books, so they still haven't. And if my mum and dad were alive, they'd so be like, "Oh, we will,
Yeah.
sweetheart." So yeah, I can't trust them because they wouldn't do it for me. But yeah, no, it's hard. So I'm very, and when I send through anything into my agent, I have like a thing of be brutal. It's like I don't want. In fact, my first mentor that I got with the people I went through to get cornerstones, I got another one because he was just saying, "Oh, this is really good," and I didn't. That was no good for me.
I don't believe you. Tell me it's bad.
That's what I mean. That was no good. How am I gonna improve if that's what you're saying?
It's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Charlotte, my question was linked to sort of popular culture in general and how that stalker sort of almost justified stalker with, like the characters like Joe Goldberg and people like that, people that you root for that are doing really terrible things. Why do you think that is? And obviously you have, this book's had over 1,000 reviews now on Amazon, so it's clearly very popular and doing very well. What do you think it is in a sort of cultural aspect that draws people to these types of characters?
I don't know. I mean, as for you, I discovered, I'd started writing my book and I thought, because the whole thing is written in a letter to the object of desire. So she addresses it as you, and I thought, I think I'll call it you. And then I thought, so I did an Amazon search, and then I was like, oh shit. So I never read the book because I thought I don't want to read this book because I'm scared it's going to be like mine. And then when we were submitting I got my agent, and then when we were submitting to publishers, it came out on Netflix, and I thought I'm going to have to read it and watch it because there's nothing I can do now. And then I just thought, there is a lot of similarities here, and I got scared, and I contacted my agent and said I'm a bit scared now, but it was fine. She used that as a thing in the end, but I don't know why. I think it's because, as I said before, I think it kind of reflects sort of things that are in all of us, but we don't act on. I think I think we can sort of see the seeds of like how you can become obsessed with someone or want someone to do. I think it's sort of like slightly in us, but obviously we're not stalkers, so we don't do that sort of thing. But so I think and I don't know whether it's that thing. I mean, for me, I like the idea from the next book of like good people doing bad things. I think in you as well, he's very charming, isn't he? And you like him. And I think it's that conflict of you like him, but he's also killing people and the same things. I don't know. We obviously like that as humans.
Yeah, we like to explore the darker side without going there.
Yeah, I think so. Via other things.
We've got a couple of standard questions on the show, and we do this just before we go on to a second part of the show where we get some questions for the audience, and if we've got time, a little quiz at the end. But Chris, do you want to start us off with the staple questions?
Yeah, so the first of the staple questions is if you could take anybody else's character and make that character your own. We normally say have a crack at it, and that does confuse people at times because they assume we mean something else, but we mean write them into a story and do what you want with them. Which character would you pick and why?
God, it's hard, isn't it? I know that for some reason the first thing that's come into my mind is Patrick Bateman.
Oh, nice, good choice.
I don't know what I'd do with him, but I don't know. That might be quite an interesting one.
Yeah, I mean that really would be.
I'll go with Patrick Bateman.
Patrick Bateman.
That's a fantastic
Would you bring him over to the UK, put him in Manchester?
Yeah, why not? Working in Barclays. There's a branch manager.
Okay, so the second part of that question would be, Yeah, if you could change the ending to anything, and we'll branch this out to TV, film, literature, anything, the ending to, what would you change the ending to and why?
Ooh, let me think of a couple of it. I think I can't remember the Remains of the Day. Stevens. I can't remember. Can you remember the housekeeper's name? Mrs. Kenton, is it? I think there should be an alternative, like chick lit version where they just get it together. Because it's so
Happy
sad
ending.
about
Nice. When you said housekeeper, then Mrs. Doyle from Father Ted just came into my head for some reason, and I couldn't get her away from there. Do you want to come to tea? Come to tea.
I can't remember her name. But that's a really sad film. So yes, I would do that. Or there is. I don't want to diss anybody. There is a book that I read that I was absolutely loving, and it's the only book I've actually thrown across the room at the ending.
What was that?
It was, well, she's an amazing writer, Sarah Waters, The Little Stranger, and I was obsessed with this book. I thought it was amazing, and then I was like so angry at the ending, so I'd probably change the ending to that.
Like it.
Yes.
The third and final question. In fact, I'm going to throw in another one today that I think we should use more often, but I've literally just thought of that, so I'll bring that. But the third and final, normally, is you're on your deathbed and you're looking back at your writing career. It's a bit morbid, we know. What is success to you? What would you be happy with?
Ooh, I mean, I'd really like to think that people, my books endured a bit, and meant things to people. That would be the ideal. Obviously, you know, it'd be nice to win those awards that I apparently won but didn't.
Yeah. We'll nominate you and award you one of our own. We'll make one up. Just fine.
Yeah, I feel like I have now because you said it.
Yeah.
I've achieved that. Yeah. I think just like for my books to have kind of endured.
It's a good answer, that is. And Chris, you ask this every week, and I haven't really thought about it. And I'd just be happy with getting like a film deal. That's it.
Yeah,
Just give me some money. That's all I want.
Good.
Yeah.
So the fourth question that I've kind of just thought of, and I don't know why we've never asked this before, but we have so many aspiring writers watching the show, as well as people who are writing on a regular basis, and we've got lots of authors that obviously watch the show as well. But what would you say to an inspiring writer that is doubting themselves at this moment in time?
Oh, well, I mean, I can't say don't doubt yourself because I did doubt myself, but also you just have to do it. You have to just be vulnerable. I think like the best writing is shows a bit of vulnerability in there, and be authentic, because only you can do you. So there's no one can do that better than you. And I think, like for me personally, it's just finding your voice and doing what you do best. There's no point, you know, there are writers I think are amazing, but I can't do what they do because I don't think like that, and there's no point me trying to do that. So I just do what I do, because that's what I do best. And I do think a lot of aspiring writers, they think they want to do something because they so admire other writers, but those other writers aren't them. And so I think it's fine. I think it's finding what you do best.
Love that. That's brilliant.
That's
advice.
a really good answer. Excellent. So what we're going to do is very quickly, we're going to do a new family member. And Charlotte, what we do is someone on Twitter that's recently followed us, who may not have a big following, we give them a shout out on Twitter, and we send them
Might be me, because I've just followed you.
We send them. It's not you. We send them a GIF, an animated GIF, and that what the GIF is your choice. So have a little think, and we will do a little video, and then we'll find out who that person is. New family member. So that person today is Natasha Boydell. She is author, of the missing husband that is out now in paperback and available to pre-order for Kindle. That's a good way to advertise your book on your bio, I suppose. The Woman Next Door out September 21. She has 350 followers, Chris, so not many. So if we can give her a follow. And Charlotte, what GIF are we going to send this person?
I think I'd like to send Beyonce leaving the building with the baseball bat and the fire.
Another
Please.
very specific. That's a lovely one.
I like that GIF.
Yeah. What's happening with Interrobang? Halo, you're late to the party, but if you hashtag Interrobang in the chat, you will enter a draw that we're going to do. We have 7 entries right now, and you will be added to that draw. So do that quickly. Giveaway. So Charlotte, when people are finding that person and sending them a GIF of Beyonce with a baseball bat, can we have either let us know?
Do I do that?
You don't have to right now.
But I have to actually do it. Okay.
You don't have to.
You don't have to.
I will do it. I just didn't know. I thought you did it. I don't mind doing it.
There she is.
That's the one. Yes.
Great.
Are you going to do it for me?
Yeah, I'm going to do
Chris
it.
will do
I'm
it.
going to send it.
Thank
And if you're
you.
watching this back or listening back, do it whenever you watch it. So, is there an author that you really like that you can sort of suggest? I know you have done one already, or you can pick a book out there with a cover that you really like and show us.
What, from my shelf?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What, just the cover that I like?
Yeah. Why not?
Oh, gosh, okay. That means that you can see that I'm actually not wearing proper clothes on the bottom half.
As long as there's colours.
Okay.
At least you are wearing clothes.
I'm not naked, but I'm just very scruffy. Okay.
Chris, someone said, "What's Natasha Boydell's Twitter?" Have I missed that out?
Yeah, you missed that out, Chris. I found it because I typed her name in, but it's Tash Boydell.
Oh, apologies. Hold that still, Chris.
There it is.
At Tash Boydell.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, I don't know. This is hard.
There's a little.
Just anyone. I mean,
I'll just go for it. I've not read it.
You did say favourite, Chris, and now you're like, just grab a book.
Just give us a book.
Ooh.
Okay.
Norwegian Wood.
Norwegian Wood. What sort of book is that?
Wood. Oh yeah. I can't say it's their name because I always get it wrong.
This shelf. The main books are downstairs.
Ah, no worries. Thank you very much. Interrobang, there you go. Which GIF? It was the GIF with Beyonce with a baseball bat. Just
And the flames
Beyonce.
behind her.
I know what?
She had flames behind her. Was it from the Lady Gaga video that she did that?
I'm not sure, actually.
No. Guys, very shortly we'll have the questions from the writing community, which is you guys watching the show. So please send us some questions in, some silly ones, some writing questions for me, left Chris, right Chris, for Charlotte, whatever. Send us some questions in. And we have a question, kind of a request. I want to know about the 2 sizes of her book on that shelf. Can you talk to us about those?
I've got the hardback and the paperback.
Can we
Very
see
boring answer.
How much input did you have on the cover, Charlotte? Were you involved in that process, or?
Well, yeah, not really, but I did, when they came back with the concept, I did say how about a few things that they did keep. So I was quite pleased about that. But it had a whole different name and everything when I submitted it. So it was called An Explanation of Love. So yeah, but I do like the cover.
Who suggested the change of the name? Was that the publisher or agent, or was that
Yeah,
you
and I
at a
was
later
really
date?
I didn't like it at all at first. It's fine now, but I was all like, ooh, not sure about that. But you have to kind of accept that they know what they're doing and they want it to sell. And now I think it would be really weird if it was called anything else. But it's quite hard at first to.
Well, the explanation of love obviously does go into your character's motivation, and if I can't have you, does just change it and make it a little bit more sinister, doesn't it? So
It does.
I suppose that's why it
Yeah.
didn't sit well at the initial change.
Yeah, no, it's the right. It was definitely the right call. Definitely, it was wrong, but it's just when you get used to it and it's like your thing, and then it's like, oh, it felt very weird. But I totally went with it because I didn't argue, I didn't push back or anything because I just knew that they knew what they were doing and I didn't. So,
Brilliant.
yeah.
I suppose just before the questions come in, was going to ask why you sort of chose to do the narrative in what some people would describe as a bit experimental in terms of that letter, writing letters to the subject of affection, rather than writing it from third person or first person in that respect.
I mean, it's first person, but it's so because he's in it. Whenever he's addressed, instead of it's just you sat down and you did this to me, and because I did it because it's just intense, and that's what the whole feeling of the book that I wanted to have, like intense and a bit claustrophobic. So it's like it makes you, it's a bit intrusive as well as a reader, so it's almost like she's talking to you. So it's a bit kind of, I don't know, it's a bit unsettling, which is what I was going for.
Very good. Right, so when you guys are sending some questions in now, we'll do the giveaway now, just so it's out of the way. It's kind of second person. Is that the case? Second person?
It's not actually second person. I think it's called. Is it second person referred or something? Because it's actually first person. So she talks like, I did this, I did that. But then when she's talking about the other person, she's saying you did this.
Right.
Yeah, and it sucks you in and draws you in because the first person is referring to a second person, but they're not using their name. They're using you.
Yeah, so it's just like if you were talking to a friend and about when you went to the shop, and then you'd go, and then do you remember when you got really drunk and fell over? So it's just like that. Just literally.
Who have you been talking to?
Kind of like if I said, yeah, exactly.
I just plucked that. I swear.
I'm joking. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll do the giveaway. Guys, please send some questions in, and then we'll ask them after this, and then we'll get into a little bit of a quiz to finish the show off. So let's do the Interrobang draw, and I'm excited to do this. This is the first time that we've done this, so let's see if it works. And StreamYard, as good as they are, have put this out there, and they do listen. If you're not using this, we're not endorsed by these people. It's very good software, and they are indeed improving things often. So shall I press that draw button, Chris?
Yep, let's go.
I'm not sure what's going to happen, but let's do it. Ooh.
I like that.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, we're in the draw ourselves.
We can't win.
That would be in... Oh, Jodie Cook!
Oh,
Woohoo! Woo!
Well done, Jodie. I will buy a copy of Charlotte's book and hand deliver it to you because I know where you live.
I can donate it to book.
Oh, there you go. That's very cool,
Really?
and that was certainly easier than what I did last week with all our spinny wheels, Chris. And
And that's a really good one because I know where Jodie lives, not because I'm a stalker, like anyone in Charlotte's book, but I know this person in real life, so I can give this person
you can
that
just
book.
hand the book over. Congrats, Jodie. Congrats, go Jodie. Well done to you, and that's a cool little thing. And we nearly won ourselves. That would have been awkward. Curse you,
So,
Jodie.
right, community question time.
Indeed, question time. So let's play a little video again. So we've got a question from the winner. First one in was from Jodie Cook. What is your all-time favourite play? Well done for listening.
Oh gosh, I don't know. When I was very into, I had a bit of an obsession with Jim Cartwright and Road. Like my favourite.
Oh, I was in the road as a kid.
You what? Sorry.
I was in the road to play. We did a play version at
Oh,
school.
were you?
Yeah, and I played the Frank Gallagher-esque type of character.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, no, I did love that play. Oh God, there's so many. I quite like Tennessee Williams, and I don't know, but I'll go with Road because it's probably not, but when I was younger, it definitely was.
Joanne Paulson says, title aside, how did it feel to give up control to the publisher? Good, bad, frightening, question mark.
Well, what I found really interesting and a real shock to me is that when I got my deal and then I got worked with the editor, it's so open and like everything's just a suggestion. And because I imagined like somebody with a red pen going, that goes there and do this and do that, and it was just like, maybe we could try a little bit more of Edward, or maybe, and it was so I was still very much in control of the actual book, which was quite surprising. In terms of I did find it a bit difficult. When you work with a book and you have your own vision for it, and then when they come along and show you kind of what they're thinking and how they're marketing, and it's it cannot be the same, so that's a bit weird. But I say you just have to like go with the flow on that and accept that they've been doing this, and Pan Macmillan know what they're doing. So
a great question from
yeah,
Halo.
it's a strange one.
That says completely ridiculous question. Sorry, it's Friday. Don't be sorry for these questions ever. That question is: Would vampiric mermaids or zombie krakens win in an underwater battle?
I don't even know what that means. I'm going with the mermaids.
No, zombie kraken surely. Chris?
What's a zombie kraken?
Well, a kraken's like a massive, sort of aggressive octopus, right?
Oh.
And a zombie one would mean it's dead.
I'm going to side with the guest on this, Chris, just because
I said the other one.
That.
Yeah, thanks.
So the vampire mermaids win, hands down.
Boo. Are you a Star Wars fan or Star Wars, Star Trek, Charlotte?
God, I don't like either.
Neither is fine. That's an answer.
Am I going to get kicked off now?
Yeah. No, you're not. What about the Beatles?
I mean, I'd go Star Wars and Star Trek if I had to, but I'm not into them.
What about music? Beatles or Elvis?
All Beatles.
Okay.
No, now I'm kicked off.
No. This is one: Manchester or London? Because obviously we've lived in both.
Oh, I'm scared to say, but I do. There's a lot I miss about them. I was in London longer than I've been in Manchester, and there's a lot I miss about it. I do love Manchester, but I don't know.
Is there what has better food places, London or Manchester?
London. It's just more like where I live, probably. I'm used to in London. It's like you could just go. There's like things, whereas where I am, you have to actually go into town for things, and that's like not as good. But I do. But Manchester's amazing. I mean, I'm on it.
Charlotte, obviously the questions are still going to be coming in, but I've kind of got a question myself. Obviously, you mentioned very briefly about running a business. So how do you manage the two? When does your actual writing fit in? Like, what does a typical good writing day look like for you?
Well, I went down to 3 days, but I've had to. I'm actually having a bit of sabbatical for 3 months to get this book written, because I actually just can't. It's too. I mean, with the first one, I got up at 5 every morning and then wrote before work and then just wrote after work, and I could do it because I just wanted to get it done, but it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Really. So I went down to 3 days, and then I'm just trying to get this first draft. I've got a deadline of the 31st of July to submit to the publishers, and then I'll be back to the day job. But it's hard because it's not even so much hours. It's like I find headspace, because it's just. Do you know what I mean? I find it hard just to switch from. I sell exhibition walling, and it's hard to switch from that into the book. I do, and just having this time off has really made me realise how difficult it is to do that switch, because just having the one thing to think about has been a big benefit.
So how do you do that? We had Katie on at the start of the week, who she said, when I can't get into the writing zone, I motivate myself with chocolate, and she said I put chocolate just out of reach, and when I get to a certain point, I'm allowed to pick up that chocolate and have that chocolate. So do you have a similar motivation, or what's your process in that respect?
I think I've got something wrong with me, because I can't concentrate on anything for more than 5 minutes, and then I'm and I realise, oh God, I've just accidentally been on Twitter, and so I set 15 minutes on my phone And it's like I can't do anything for 50 minutes, and if I can't go beyond 50 minutes without, I need to have a break then. I just can't concentrate for too long. So, and I get so much more writing done then. I do these like quick spurts.
Sprints, yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Do you reckon that's
Fantastic.
anything to do with your schooling and what you've been conditioned? Like 50-minute lessons, it's like you have to concentrate for 50 minutes and then you can go to your next lesson.
Maybe. I mean, saying that, like that's in the first draft, like when I'm editing, then I go the other way, where then I'm all obsessive and I realise it's like 10 o'clock and I haven't eaten and I look like Doc from Back to the Future. So it's like it's one thing or the other. But yeah, and I do find it, I do set writing spurts. Do you do writing spurts? Spurts. Wrong word. Writing sprints.
I think for me, yeah, I'm one of these people that I'm either fully into it or I'm not really into it. And then, for example, my first draft, I mentioned I enjoy first drafts. It was quite short. My latest work in progress was quite short, but I did the first draft in like 10 days. And then
Wow.
the rest of it has been months. So it's just like...
How many words were you writing a day?
I can do, it depends on what I want to commit, but normally like 2,000, 3,000, maybe 4, depends on how much time I do stick to it. But this story I can just type quickly and blurb out, but like it says, when it comes to the editing phase, then the meat really has to be thrown into the story then.
Yeah, I'm the opposite now. I have a word count of 500 words, and I know it's only small, but
I think that's a good amount.
Yeah, I read somewhere that if you had 200 words a day for 365 days, you would have a 73,000 page word novel at the end of the year. And I thought, if I do one of them every year and just bump that up a little bit, I'll be happy. So I can I do a little bit in the morning when the kids, before they woke up. I do a little bit at night and sometimes in between breaks and lunches. Yeah, I just do it on my phone now. I found that's the really, like, instead of getting on the laptop and the computer, I just get on my phone and type it away and stuff like that. So.
My thumbs are too fat for that, Chris. I wouldn't be able to do it. Be auto-correcting everywhere. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to move on to this. There's a fantastic conversation going on in the chat about the Krakens. What we'll do is move on to a little bit of a quiz to finish off the show, and there's only 6 questions because it's kind of general knowledge. Normally we pick a theme, but I've opened it up to some random questions, and for some reason,
Chris, this is perfect because at the start of the week I applied for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Did you?
I did, and I had to send a video in and a link to your Twitter bio, which I did, and I also included the show in because I thought maybe they could see something there. Yeah, they're obviously presenting and a little bit of bants with Jeremy, potentially. So I applied for that. So general knowledge is a good option. I'll probably fail.
Hooli and Chris,
Am I going to humiliate myself now?
No, you'll definitely win, but it's good practice.
I don't know. I didn't know whatever it was.
Oh no! These are random. These are multiple choice random questions, and they all seem to be aimed at Americans. Don't. I mean no offense to you guys watching. So okay, I'll ask you one first, Charlotte, and then we'll move to Chris and see how many you get right. Okay, the first question to Charlotte is: the average person does what 13 times a day? Laughs, yawns, or pees?
Oh,
Interesting.
God. Yawns.
The answer is laughs. You are incorrect.
I don't.
You didn't even pass it over.
No, pass it over. No, that's a good point though, because I don't.
I dispute that.
Yeah, these are vague.
I dispute that. If you're very, I don't think I laugh 13 times a day. Just sat here in lockdown on my own. That's a definite pre-lockdown question.
Well,
these are... I think the older I get, the more that peeing is a viable option. I feel like that happens way too often.
I did wonder myself.
Again, these are questionable answers and questions from a questionable website. So, okay, over to Chris. The average American does what 22 times a day? And again, this is from a website, not me. Turns on the TV, opens the biscuit tin, or opens the fridge.
Oh,
Chris.
You see, I was instantly drawn to food. I'm going to say opens the fridge.
Opens the fridge is the correct answer.
Yes.
22
Thank
times
you,
a day,
America.
though?
Yeah, I can believe that though, because when I go for the milk, like I probably open it, forget what I've gone for, close it again, go for a tea bag, go, oh yeah, I was getting the milk, and then I go and open it, get the milk out, and then you got to put it back. That's
is
3
your memory
times just
that
to make
bad?
one brew.
Yeah, the audience agreed on fridge there. I'm guessing so. I don't know. Okay, so on Sunday, back to Charlotte, in Florida, it is illegal for a single woman to do what? Scuba dive, skydive, or drive a bus. What can they not do on a Sunday, apparently?
Okay. I'm going to say drive a bus because it's the only one that. Why would you be doing other things like scuba diving?
Why would you bother? I mean, it's a stupid thing to do, right? Okay,
I'm
so
going to drive a bus.
drive a bus.
I don't know,
The
that's
answer
wrong.
is skydive. Is that
Was
true,
it
Americans?
Was it single women in Florida?
Yeah.
So if they were married,
They were
they
married
could
women
skydive.
could skydive all day on
Um,
a Sunday.
if you're, I know some of you American on the show are listening to the show right now, watching it. Let us know if that's the thing, because it's weird, and I'm not sure. So it's 1-0 to Chris still, and we are going to move on to the next question, which says, "What is Johnny Depp afraid of, Chris?
Amber Heard.
Clowns,
Yeah.
pirates, or pigs?"
Oh. I'm trying to think of films that he may have been in that include. Surely he cannot be afraid of pirates.
Clowns,
I'm gonna
pirates,
say-
or pigs? I mean, why? Well,
I'm going to say
No.
pigs.
pigs. The answer is, let's have a little look at this. Clowns. He doesn't like clowns. I should have put ET in there, shouldn't I, Chris?
Yeah, but that wouldn't apply to him. That would apply to me.
It'd just be funny though. Pirates. If it was pirates, it'd be hilarious. I know. Imagine that on the show. That's why he acted so well. I mean, he's terrified. Okay, back to Charlotte. What type of sportsmen are most likely to get diseased anuses or rectums? Sorry for the question. Snowboarders, water skiers, or golfers?
I'm going to go with water skiers.
Okay. The answer to that amazing question is indeed water skiers. We have a point.
think
I
it's
don't
'cause
want to
you-
know where you got that information from, Maggot.
Water going up you.
Actually.
We have one more question, so Chris can win
Oh,
this.
Chris, do you know,
Ooh.
this is a weird and tedious link to anuses and problems with anuses, but
Really?
have you seen that trending thing that at the moment about the frozen potatoes?
No.
So, apparently, there's a natural remedy if you get piles to chop a potato up to a chip-sized piece,
Right.
put it in the freezer, and then the rumour is that if you stick it inside your anus, there are there's a natural remedy basically within the potato. But doctors today have warned everybody not to do this because it's very dangerous and it can actually give you an infection. So if you do have piles, please do not try the potato method.
Indeed.
Thanks for that. I'm glad you just told me that now because
Well, I found this out in my break today, and apparently 1 in 20 people do get piles in their lifetime, so that's quite a high number.
Don't use a frozen potato.
Do not use the frozen potato, in case
Anya
you were
says-
thinking of you doing so.
She said in the chat says there's a lot of random laws in America that haven't been sorted out. But she says also in Florida, the law states you must pay for the parking meter if you tie an elephant, goat, or alligator to it.
Wow.
So I'm not sure who ties an alligator to anything, but make sure you pay for your parking
If you
meter.
tied the alligator, then you're probably getting away with it because no one's going near that at all.
Yeah. Say no to the potato in the no-no. Okay, last question for Chris to pinch this and win. If you do not, it's a draw, and I'm sure that means you instantly lose, Chris, just because. So, it is illegal in Texas to put what on your neighbour's cow? A bell, graffiti, or a hat?
Oh. I so want it to be a hat, but I'm going to say a bell.
Are you going with bell?
Yeah.
That is incorrect. Can I pass this over for the steal?
Oh, I think a hat.
You both are rubbish, and that means that no one wins. If we got a tiebreaker, I don't know. We'll have to look at that. Bell. There you go. It's not a bell. It was graffiti. So there you go. It's a draw, Chris. Unless someone wants to send a tiebreaker question in. Real
I'm
quick.
looking forward to seeing the Banksy version of him drawing on a cow. I think that'd be quite cool.
He's done some amazing things lately. Okay, right. Okay. No, have we got a question coming in? No. No tiebreaker. Chris, Charlotte, if you let us know about when your new book is looking to come out, I will look for a tiebreaker question.
Sorry. I
Go
was
finish
just
writing it first, mate.
Oh,
he said if you could tell us when your new book's coming out, but
I don't know.
obviously that's quite a while away because you don't know
I
yet.
don't know,
Obviously, you've got your deadline.
unfortunately.
Could
I
you
don't
tell the audience and people watching them where they could buy If I Can't Have You from?
Yes, it's
Obviously, we have
if
people
you're-
watching in America as well.
Right, it's on Amazon. I think you still get it on Amazon.com as well as .co.uk. And in this country, it's on Waterstones and in bookshops, and also in all supermarkets as well, apart from Morrison's, but it will be in the summer.
Like it.
So,
Fantastic.
So if you're out
Lots of
shopping
options.
and you're picking up some food, you can pick up Charlotte's book as well, which is amazing.
exactly.
So we have a tiebreaker question, and the closest to this takes the crown. And we need just an answer of a number. How many times does the word blood appear in Shakespeare's Macbeth? Closest number gets the win. Chris, what do you reckon?
I don't know.
Have a stab at it.
I'm going to go 40.
40. 47 on the chat. Chris?
I don't think it's that high, but
62 coming in.
I'm going to say 33.
33. Charlotte, you said what? 40?
40.
Charlotte wins. The answer is 42. Chris is lost again. Charlotte is victorious.
God, the meaning of life, the universe, and everything. 42.
Linda was way off the mark with 2.
Didn't get it.
Joanne 6. No, well done. And fantastic. Well done to you, Charlotte, and beating Chris. I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
As
I'm
always.
I
wounded.
like a quiz.
Yeah. And Chris, I'm not being funny. With that kind of knowledge, how are you going to win Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah, that's true. But I'm not concerned about
Hopefully
who
there'll
wants
be
to be a
like a
millionaire.
child tip question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean-
maybe. I'm concerned about the kids who I teach Macbeth to GCSE to. That is slightly concerning. But I could talk about the concept of blood, just not how many times it's in it.
Do you know what? I think if you did win the million, we could open like the WCCS bar like we talked about.
Yeah, there's more chance of me finding £1 million than winning £1 million.
Stumble on it. Yeah, I guess. So, Charlotte, thank you so much for joining us. It's
No,
been a
thank
pleasure.
you for having me. It's been very enjoyable. Thank you very much.
Apart from the anus questions that randomly appeared at the end of the show, it's been fantastic. So just wish you all the best with your book and your upcoming work in progress, and hope that
Thank you very much.
you get it to where you want it to be. Chris, anything else from you?
No, just that it's been absolutely amazing having a fellow Mancunian on the show, chatting and outnumbering Agate. So thank you very much for coming on, Charlotte. It's been an absolute pleasure. And
For
this
you-
is my favourite bit because we get to wave. We go.
But yeah, for you guys that are watching the show and listening back on YouTube on the podcast, thank you so much for supporting the show. It means the world to us, and we wouldn't be here without you guys. So thank you so much. We appreciate it massively, and I look forward to next week. And we're pretty much finishing season 5. We're like 20 episodes in season 5 now, so we need to wrap that up. Season 6 needs to happen. So thank you very much for tuning in, and guys, we will see you next week. Thank you. See you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.